Welcome to day 347. We're in James and 1 Timothy. I just have 2 points I want to make today as we get closer and closer to the end of our goal. The first one is about Christ's return. In James 5, 7 through 8, and you may have lots of other questions on the things that are in there, and you're more than welcome to post a comment, and hopefully I'll get that message and I can answer those questions. But I want to focus really mostly on the main topic of the Bible, and that's Christ, who he is, what he did for us, and his return, and what's going to happen during that time period. And this is what it says about his return. James 5, 7 through 8. Dear brothers and sisters, be patient as you wait for the Lord's return. Consider the farmers who patiently wait for the rains in the fall and in the spring, like they have anything to do with it, and like we have anything to do with Christ's return. They eagerly look for the valuable harvest to ripen. And Christ uses that analogy a lot, and that the harvest is ripe for the farmers to go out and take everything up. And so in Revelation it talks about swinging the sickle and harvesting the grapes, the good and the bad. Okay, so we have the rapture that happens, that takes people up. We have the second coming, where Christ comes and there is a massive amount of people that are grouped together at Armageddon, and they are the great thrown into the great winepress of God's wrath. Okay, and and they are destroyed in a moment. Okay, so he uses that analogy of farmers and harvesting a lot. Verse 8: you too must be patient. Take courage, for the coming of the Lord is near. So Paul is saying, or James in this case is saying, the coming of the Lord is near. Paul said the same thing. John says the same thing. In Revelation it says he is coming soon. His return draws nigh. So you must be patient. Take courage, for the coming of the Lord is near. Our life is short, so one way or another, we're either going to be raptured or we're going to go to heaven after we die. So it's our time of seeing Christ is always close, and every day it's closer, because you're getting closer and closer to the rapture, which nobody knows when that is. Now, I want to mention something in 1 Timothy. I add this list to my sex list. I have a sex list based on things about marriage, one man, one woman, homosexuality, other types of things. I've made this from the beginning. Hopefully you have a list as well. I just put it under the title of sex, just because it encompasses lots of different types of analogies and concepts that are in the Bible. So this one is mentioning a couple different things, and it's also talking about really the church age. And let me just read it. 1 Timothy 1, chapter 1, verse 9 and 10. For the Lord was not intended, the law was not intended for people who do what is right. If you're doing what is right, you don't have to worry about the law. Doesn't that make sense? If you're doing what you should be doing, you don't have to worry about rules and regulations, because you're probably inside the fence or the boundary, which we call the law, or the rules and the regulation that say don't do this, don't go beyond this point. So it's not for people who do what is right. It is for people who are lawless and rebellious. Think about that. The 10 Commandments were given, and what were the people doing? They're making a golden calf during that time. So the law was made to show people their sin and to say, stop doing this. The law was not made for punishment. Who are ungodly and sinful, who consider nothing sacred and defile what is holy, who kill their father or mother or commit other murders. Verse 10. The law is for people who are sexually immoral or who practice homosexuality. Stop right there. Okay? Yeah, it mentions homosexuality, okay? Not homosexuals. It talks about the act of homosexuality. Right before that, it says, who are sexually immoral. Doesn't matter if you're homosexual or heterosexual. Doesn't matter. If you are sexually immoral. That's what it's talking about. Okay? Or are slave traders. Think about the slave trading that we have going on today, and sex slaves that are going on. Liars, promise breakers, or who do anything else that contradicts the wholesome teaching that comes from the glorious good news. Okay? So, if you look through all the 10 commandments, there's only one God, don't make any idols, you should not take the Lord's name in vain, always obey your mom and dad so that you live a long life from the Lord your life is giving you. Don't work on Sunday, meaning take a day of rest. Don't kill, don't steal, don't lie, don't want what other people have. You go through the 10 commandments, and really what you have there is pretty much what that's saying. So the law is what the 10 commandments are, okay? And if you are breaking the law, that's what it's talking about, okay? So we are in an age where you are either going to do what is right or you're going to do what is wrong. You are forgiven if you screw up, if you have accepted what Christ has done for you. This is all boiling up and getting bigger and bigger and worse nearing the end. A small circumstantial piece of evidence saying that we are closer and closer to that day when Christ's return draws near. We say it's nearer every single day, which obviously it makes sense, but when we really say that, what we're trying to say is we think it's fairly close, among other reasons, and we'll get into that as we get closer and closer to Revelation and in and out of Revelation. So that is your day 347. I'll see you tomorrow.